Hello everyone, welcome back to the Hungaroring circuit here in Budapest for race 2 of the Ferrari Challenge Coppa Shell class of cars which are making their way onto the grid right now. Wow, the weather conditions this afternoon somewhat different to this morning. Luckily, the Coppa Shell drivers were able to qualify in the dry. That wasn't true for the Trofeo Pirelli drivers who had a very wet circuit, but it's very dry now. It's the round 3. We're in Budapest, having been to Monza and Valencia, with still to come La Casale, Silverstone, Imola and Mugello. And there is the Trofeo Pirelli winning car of Daniele D'Amato, car number 25, which has shown extraordinary pace in the Trofeo Pirelli races, but it is Coppa Shell that we are focusing on right now here in Hungary. It is their race 2 of the weekend, and this is where we are in the Hungaroring, which is some 23 kilometers from central Budapest, which, if the traffic is in your favor, is around about 30-35 minutes drive time in the sunshine. 4.3 kilometer circuit, opened in 1986 with 14 turns, 8 right and 6 of them are left-handers. Very undulating as well, where the air temperature now is 31 degrees, track temperature a paltry 42, humidity at 59%. So an undulating circuit where from the start-finish straight you go downhill to the very, very back of the circuit, and there is Francesca to the right-hand side of your screen from the Formula Racing team. The team indeed that run this man. Johnny Lawson, that has put the car on pole position. He's taken 1 win, 2 second places and 2 P4s, as well as those four pole positions that he's achieved in Ferrari Challenge for 2017. Eric Chung, we're looking at the back end of his car, number 198. He was the winner yesterday. Alongside Johnny Lawson, though, on the front row of the grid is Thomas Gosner, with 5 times he's finished with P4. And Thomas Gosner there with his driver coach, which is Matteo Santaponte, known as Babalus, former star driver in the Ferrari Challenge, and very useful driver coach to have as well. The Eric Prinot car is the Dayglow yellow and black machine that we're looking at now. And of course, we are celebrating the 70th anniversary of Ferrari as we continue our European tour here in Hungary, with Christoph Herney going from P3 on the grid. Some of the spectators who are about to enjoy 30 minutes of racing from the Coppa Shell drivers in the Ferrari Challenge. So Eric Prinot, then, we mentioned, goes from P4 on the grid. Yesterday, he finished P11. He has taken a win this season. That came in the first race at Monza. And that is best race so far. And one of the 2 lady racers is Manuela Gosner. The other is Tina Koch. And let's take a look at the surroundings of Budapest then. So from Budapest then, we travelled in that clip all the way here to the Hungaroring, which, as I mentioned, is some 23 kilometres or so. James Wyland then goes from P6 on the grid, the Rosso Corsa racer, American star. He is one of the gentleman racers. Gentleman racers being denoted by the GTL that you can see underneath the driver number on the graphics. Car number 144 is Vladimir Hladik, going from P7 on the grid, driving for the Baron service, and indeed the team principal, Philip Baron, himself a Trofeo Pirelli driver, just giving final instructions and words of encouragement to Vladimir Hladik down there on the grid. Alongside Vladimir Hladik, going from P8, is von Skeltermar, who didn't have a good time of it in the race yesterday. In fact, he didn't finish the race, so von Skeltermar hoping for better things today, although qualifying didn't go exactly the way he wanted either. Von Skeltermar there in car number 177. His driver coach is Nicky Kadai, and I'm not sure I've seen Nicky at all this weekend, so I would suggest that Nicky Kadai is not here. Focus on von Skeltermar then. as more of the spectators ready to enjoy the 30-minute race to come in this, the 70th anniversary year of Ferrari. The heat haze off of the tarmac onto the 160 car. Here is Eric Chung then, 10 wins in Ferrari Challenge. One of those came yesterday. His qualifying, though, was somewhat disappointing, going from P9 on the grid for Eric Chung today. It will be a big ask for him to win the race. From there, alongside him is another Canadian racer like the like of Rick Lovett, car number 112. And a lovely little montage of just about everything that the Ferrari Challenge racing weekend has been all about here at the Hungaroring thus far. The car for the Ferrari Challenge for 2016 is the all-new Ferrari 488 GTE car, the first ever turbocharged car in the Ferrari Challenge. Just in the middle of the picture there, you can just see Christian Hobo. Lovely to see him back here, former Ferrari Challenge racer, and here very much as a spectator this weekend. So Eric Chung then, who we mentioned previously, going from P9 on the grid, was the winner yesterday. We are about a minute and a half away from the race getting underway, and here's the grid in full for you. Johnny Lawson, Thomas Gosner. Row 1. Row 2, Christoph Herning and Eric Prinot. Row 3, the best of the lady racers. Manuela Gosner going from P5 with James Weiland alongside in P6. Then we find Vladimir Haladik and von Skeltermar. It's Eric Chung, yesterday's race winner, alongside Rick Lovett and Tommy Lindroth and Dusan Palkra on the 6th row of the grid, with Tina Koch out qualifying Henrik Kamstrup then for Baron Service, who will be going from P14. That is the grid lined up. There is the Hublot safety car, which will lead the cars away on their formation lap. And there from the back of the Hublot safety car, let's hear from our pole position man right now.
Another pole position here in Hungaroring. It's fantastic. I really enjoyed it, and looking forward for the race in the afternoon. Thank you.
So that was Johnny Lawson, who did it all in qualifying, and we grabbed him on camera literally as soon as he had got out of the car. And he has put the car on pole position. It's a very, very impressive time from Johnny Lawson of a 1:49.567. So cars will be released for their formation lap to start now. And there they go then. All the social media at the top of the screen for you with regards to the Ferrari Challenge, as the cars now make their way on their formation lap. Always a rolling start in the Ferrari Challenge. And the safety car will pick the cars up from around about turn 10, and then we'll peel off into the pit lane, and it will be the responsibility of Johnny Lawson and Thomas Gosner to control the pace of the race start as they head towards the green light. So through turn 1, you go rapidly downhill, right-hander, then another right-hander, which is turn 1A, which is a small kink, if you like, and then you continue to go downhill towards turn number 2, which is where we see the cars exiting right now. And then it's through turn 3 and now heading up towards turn 14, where it's just a little crest before you start going downhill again into turn number 5. There the Formula Racing team look on, as do some of the spectators. The cars are making their way through turn 5 now and heading towards the chicane, which is turns 6 and 7. And we will pick the cars up there. There is Johnny Lawson, there's Thomas Gosner. There is the 162 car of Christoph Herney and Eric Prinot behind, with Manuela Gosner, James Wayland, Vladimir Hladik, von Skeltermar and Eric Chung and Rick Lovett all going through the chicane now. Cars make their way through turn 11, and the safety car will pick them up any moment now. And the cars will get into grid formation. And then Beppe Scanetti, who drives the Hublot safety car, will control the pace until the safety car peels off. There indeed is the Hublot safety car. The tarmac here at the Hungaroring always looks absolutely brand new. In fairness, overnight and this morning it had a wash, with the rain coming down quite heavily in parts. Now it's gorgeous blistering sunshine once again. So cars into grid order then, behind the safety car. 30 minutes of race action to come from the Ferrari Challenge Coppa Shell as the cars head up now to turn number 13. And the lights go green. Let's go racing. It is race number 2 for Coppa Shell. Thomas Gosner and Johnny Lawson absolutely side by side. Manuela Gosner is really making a move on the inside. The lady racer could find herself in P3, but is going to be just unceremoniously nerfed out by the 162 car, Christoph Herney. In fact, there's contact between Christoph Herney and Manuela Gosner. Another one that's made an absolutely blistering start is von Skeltermar. Look at this. Very nearly up to P3. There's contact between himself and Eric Prinot, not for the first time this weekend. Von Skeltermar does find himself in P3, assuming there's been no damage to the car. Now they drive uphill. The leader is Johnny Lawson, with the back end of the car really stepping out then as he's made his way and entry into that turn. Lawson Gosner, von Skeltermar, and just going around there and collecting almost Vladimir Hladik. The start is under investigation, and that was Manuela Gosner who got really mugged there and got turned around. So the cars continue on the way. Manuela Gosner with a lot of hard work to do now, right from the back of the pack. She's taken the win in the Ladies' Cup race thus far from the one race here yesterday. Rick Lovett in car number 112, we could see there. Lawson, Gosner, Skeltermar, then it's Prinot, Wayland and Vladimir Hladik, and there is James Wayland's car running in P5 at the moment. And on board with James Wayland, looking back at the Vladimir Hladik car, which he closes under braking behind Vladimir Hladik. Here's Eric Chung. Heading up towards the final turn now as we stay on board with this Rosso Corsa racer who is running in P5. Lawson then with a margin of 1.1 seconds already over Thomas Gosner. Here comes Eric Prinot to take a look at von Skeltermar going through turn number 1. They head down towards turn 1A now and then turn 2. But it is Lawson, Gosner, then Skeltermar, Prinot again, just taking a look at the inside, but isn't close enough. So Prinot and Skeltermar arguing over the final podium place at the moment. This battle for third position. And this a replay of the start then, which, may I remind you, is under investigation. Eric Prinot all the way around the outside there. King of the late breakers was Johnny Lawson, because Thomas Gosner was ahead of Johnny Lawson as they went into, or about to turn into turn number 1, but of course Johnny Lawson had the inside line. That was Eric Prinot trying to dive down the inside of Fons Skeltermar, had taken to the curbs and the grass a little bit, and Fons was having none of it. It was not going to be moved at all, and that was Manuela Gosner being turned around. We didn't quite see how Manuela got turned around. We weren't with the shot to see the start of that spin, if you like. Well, car number 144, which is Vladimir Hladik, who may well have been the perpetrator of that, has been given a drive-through penalty. So car number 144, Vladimir Hladik, gets a drive-through penalty. In the meantime, making a pass on the 117 car of Dusan Palkra is Christoph Herney. Car number 181 is going to receive a warning flag as well. That's Eric Prinot. And there you can see that in graphics on screen now as Johnny Lawson continues to build that gap over Thomas Gosner, who is P2. And that is a great, great shame. Manuela Gosner is out. Vladimir Hladik is in to serve his drive-through penalty. So it'll be theoretically, assuming that Tina has a trouble-free race, it will be her first Ladies' Cup win, I believe. So they're the 117 car of Dusan Palkra. Being chased down by Tommy Lindroth. Vladimir Hladik is returning out onto the track now. Tommy Lindroth running in P10. Johnny Lawson, we could see, and Thomas Gosner is P2. Fons Skeltermar still seeing off the challenge from Eric Prinot. Johnny Lawson not putting a wheel out of turn at the moment. And just nailing all the apexes of the turns and building up slowly but surely that margin, 2.6 seconds now.
Very good, Johnny. You are faster than the car behind you. Don't push too much.
So Johnny Lawson being told not to push too much, and the reason for that is the longevity of the tyres, etc, etc, etc. When he's got a comfortable margin, needs to just control that margin, not overdrive the car, so that when it comes to the end of the race, he could fall prey to the likes of Thomas Gosner, Fons Skeltermar, or whomever may be in Ps 2 and 3 come the end of that race in around about 24 minutes time. At the moment, Johnny Lawson doing a very, very good job, untroubled out front. The gap to Thomas Gosner, 2.6 seconds, as you can see. There is Fons Skeltermar that's running in P3. Eric Prinot is P4. He's had a warning flag, so knows that any overtake opportunity that he gets against Fons Skeltermar has got to be clean and tidy, that's for sure. But at the moment, Fons Skeltermar is able to show him a clean pair of heels. Unfortunately, Prinot's stablemate, Manuela Gosner, the lady racer, is out of the race. What a great shame. So Prinot then running in P4. There is Thomas Gosner. Of course, his daughter Manuela out of the race, and Fons Skeltermar running in P3. Great shot then as they make their way around that turn. Skeltermar doing a good job as they head towards the chicane now. Shark's teeth on the front of the Fons Skeltermar car as he takes the curb in and takes the curb on exit as well. Eric Prinot with the battle scars on the front of his car. And Thomas Gosner just taking a little bit too much curb and a little bit of the grass as well as they exit turn number 11. So Larson then with 3 seconds margin. Now, there's James Wayland, who's running in P5, and Christoph Herney is turning in an incredible lap time at the moment, faster than our race leader, a 1:51.882 for his last lap. So he's going to be one to keep an eye on. Right behind Christoph Herney is Rick Lovett, the Canadian racer. As you can see on screen, it's the battle for P7 and P8, but Herney with a very, very fast lap, a 1:51.882 last time around. So heads towards the timing line now. The incident involving cars number 144 and 183 is under investigation. So that was Vladimir Hladik and Manuela Gosner, which sadly has seen the end of the race for Manuela Gosner, and means that Vladimir Hladik now, having served that drive-through penalty, is right at the back of the grid. Or right at the back of the pack, I should say. 2.5 seconds, the margin out front for Johnny Lawson. And there is Manuela Gosner. Sadly now is watching the race from the pit wall rather than being in her racing car. So she will be keeping her eyes on Father Thomas Gosner. Well, a little smile from Manuela, but I'm sure behind the smile, there's a song there somewhere, isn't there? She'll be feeling somewhat differently. James Wayland then under attack from Eric Chung. Eric Chung, yesterday's race winner. Disappointing qualifying from Eric Chung this morning. And there, the mistake from James Wayland. A good save from him in the end, but that has allowed Eric Chung to get right alongside and tried to go around the outside and was unable to do so. Right down at the back of the circuit. So, just for good measure, second smile from Manuela Gosner. So Eric Chung now will feel that he has the opportunity to convert P6 into P5 potentially, because he wasn't being pressured particularly, or James Wayland wasn't being pressured particularly, but did make an error, and that allowed Eric Chung to get ever closer. And of course, just behind Eric Chung is the very fast-moving Christoph Herney. The last lap from Thomas Gosner in P2 was significantly faster than Johnny Lawson. The gap has now come down between P1 and P2 to just under 2 seconds. So James Wayland now heavy braking going into turn number 1. Just avoiding the back of the car is Eric Chung as he turned in to make turn number 1. This battle for 5th position, which continues to rage. We've done just on 10 minutes of the race thus far. Race that's being led by Johnny Lawson, who is seeing his lead eroded by Thomas Gosner. Thomas Gosner, who had a huge crash at the Monza circuit, has come back driving his son David Gosner's car. Driving very, very well indeed. So Eric Chung for Formula Racing then, and James Wayland, the 118 car for Rosso Corsa. Lovett just sets a good Sector 1 time. In fact, his personal best of 39.1. Compare that to this man, or rather to Johnny Lawson, who went through a 10th quicker. Eric Chung we look at now. And now James Wayland, who made a mistake, and that allowed Eric Chung to get ever closer to him. But Eric Chung is having to turn his attention now to defending from Christoph Herney. So Vladimir Hladik then gets a drive-through penalty. Which by my reckoning is his second drive-through penalty. One will have been for the botched start, and this one causing a collision with Manuela Gosner. Okay, thanks to Nico alongside me for clearing that little confusion up. But in fairness, that doesn't help Manuela Gosner at all. So her race is done and dusted, and she's out of it. But Vladimir Hladik's going to struggle to do anything better than P13 with 2 drive-through penalties, that's for sure. Now, what about this? Slowly but surely, lap after lap after lap, some redemption perhaps for the Gosner family, as Thomas has been reeling in Johnny Lawson. Part of me is tempted to say that Johnny is just managing the gap, and is taking notice of his engineer that we heard on team radio saying, don't overdrive the car. Whereas Thomas is throwing everything at it bar the kitchen sink almost in his quest to get on terms with Johnny Lawson. There's von Skelterma, who's comfortable in P3 at the moment and being untroubled by Eric Prinot. Eric Prinot, of course, is driving under the auspices of knowing that he's been given a warning flag and doesn't want to alert the attention of the race stewards any more than he has already done so. So Skelterma then doing a good job in P3. Eric Prinot P4. Now, Sector 2, Thomas Gosner was quicker by a tenth than Johnny Lawson, but Lawson was a tenth quicker in Sector 1, so it kind of evens out. But the last lap was a 1:52.533 for Johnny Lawson for the complete lap. It's 1:52.003 for Thomas Gosner. Make of that what you will. So Eric Chung then. Again, Thomas Gosner marginally quicker than Johnny Lawson over the last complete lap, and the margin then comes down to 1.3 seconds. Here's James Wayland then, and Eric Chung. Eric Chung gets closer on the downhill section, running towards the turn-in for turn number 1. James Wayland at the moment, the Rosso Corsa racer, able to manage it. Meantime, Tommy Lindroth with a bold and ambitious move on the Dusan Palcra car, which he had to dial out of that because it wasn't going to happen in the end. There's our race leader, Johnny Lawson, in car number 160. And you can now see the Thomas Gosner car in that shot as well. Let's go on board then with Johnny Lawson for Formula Racing. Making his way around the back of the circuit here, hugs the curbs and the rumble strips then. Back on the power. Great to be able to watch this, and it's really, I've walked the circuit, not driven it sadly. It's a lovely circuit to walk around. So Lawson now, full power, starts to brake now for the right-hander and to turn in. Takes the curb on the right-hand side. Heavy braking again now. This around turn number 13. Up towards turn number 14. Take a little bit of the pit in. And then put the car right in the middle at the start of turn 14 as the car comes to the inside, and then maximum power out. Vladimir Hladik has decided that 2 drive-through penalties is sufficient, and he's going to park the car up. The team principal, Philip Barron, alongside him, and clearly Vladimir will have a different view to events to probably the race steward and maybe Manuel Gosner. But ironically, both of those are out of the race now. So James Wayland still has not been pushed aside by Eric Chung, metaphorically speaking, of course. Chung is maintaining his pressure on the James Wayland car. Dusan Palcra and Tommy Lindroth under steward's investigation. That was for the overtake that Tommy Lindroth went for on the inside and then had to dial out of it to avoid a collision. There was contact between the two of them, but Tommy Lindroth dialed out of the overtake. That is under investigation, and we saw that live on our television pictures. James Wayland then he's obviously had some contact at some point because the driver's door mirror has been completely inverted and is now pointing in completely the wrong direction. Pointing in the right direction, though, is Johnny Lawson, who continues to lead this race.
Okay, 15 minutes to go. 15 minutes to go. Improve last sector, please.
Well, slight delay on that team radio because there's 13 minutes to go now. Johnny Lawson on board then as he makes the final turn here, turn number 14, before heading towards the timing line to split the beam, and we'll get a gap and see what it is to Thomas Gosner. He increased it marginally last time around and has done so again now. It's 2.3 seconds, so what I was saying earlier about him just controlling the gap back to Gosner, I think is the case, as Eric Prinot just took another little look at von Skelterman. No further investigation, no further action, rather, after the investigation between cars of Dusan Palkra and Tommy Lindroth, and I think that's the right decision, because I think Tommy realised that to continue the overtake would have caused a collision, and he dialed out of it, and at this moment in time remains behind Dusan Palkra, some 3 seconds behind. So that is exactly the right decision by the race steward. Skelterman still showing a clean pair of Shark's heels to Eric Prinot. They are running P3 and P4. So Johnny Lawson leading from Thomas Gosner. The way things stand at the moment, Gosner is the one that would win the gentleman's trophy, because he's the top performing gentleman driver. Got a whole brace of them actually following Johnny Lawson. 7 of them, rounded out by Christoph Herney, who is currently P7, beg your pardon. Rick Lovett, of course, as well. He's running in P8. Disappointing drive from Rick Lovett, to be honest. It was disappointing qualifying from Rick Lovett as well, if truth be told, for the Canadian racer. Went to this in a good position in the points. This is not going to be helping his points haul. Eric Chung has had to turn his attention away from chasing down James Whalen to defending from Christoph Herney. As you can see, Christoph Herney is getting ever closer to the car of Eric Chung. So there is Christoph Herney in the all-black 162 car, engineered by Team Zenith Scion. Ahead is Eric Chung, and the gap, well, he's taken 3/10 out of Eric Chung over the last lap. Interestingly, Thomas Gosner's lap time has fallen away a bit. Last lap around, he was a second slower than the leading car of Johnny Lawson. Johnny's stablemate is Eric Chung, that we look at now, and there, the man that's chasing Eric Chung is Christoph Herney. James Wayland in the 118 car. Just see Eric Prinot going through. Here's James Whalen then, out on his own really in P5 at the moment, because Eric Chung is in this difficult position of trying to hunt down James Whalen, but also being very conscious of the fact that hunting him down is Christoph Herney, and Christoph Herney is certainly closer to Eric Chung now. Herney's going to go for a move, I think. He's closer than he has been. And a rare mistake there from Johnny Lawson, as he carried too much speed and the back end of the car stepped out. So that has allowed Thomas Gosner to get a bit closer to Johnny Lawson. I think that was just a momentary lapse of concentration, perhaps, on the part of Johnny Lawson. He's going around turn 13 now. Feathers the throttle out of 13, going uphill towards turn 14 now, turns in. Allows the car to run out to the side of the straight. And the gap is 2.968 now between P1 and P2, with almost exactly 9 minutes of the race remaining. So this is race 2 for Coppa Shell. There's James Wayland, Eric Chung and Christoph Herney, all together, with Rick Lovett, who would very much like to join in that party as well. He's currently running in P8. So, momentary break to look at the show cam then, as Eric Prinot now gets a little bit closer to von Skelterman. Von Skelterman for Kessel Racing, Eric Prinot from Ineco MP Racing, who of course are having success at the moment with Thomas Gosner, who is running in P2. I think von Skeltermaar has got this completely under control at the moment. There's about 7/10 between the two of them. And there's Eric Prinot's partner, Monica, looking on. Johnny Lawson, 2.6 seconds, but now it is clear to me, whether I look at the timing screen or not look at the timing screen, Eric Prinot is getting ever closer to von Skeltermaar. It's around this turn 13 where von Skeltermaar and Eric Prinot had a coming together in race 1 yesterday. Eric Prinot not even close enough to think about trying to overtake there. If he gets a good exit from turn 14 now, there's a possibility that he can close the gap as they head downhill towards turn number 1 by braking later than von Skeltermaar, potentially. As we look at James Wayland, who's untroubled at the moment by Eric Chung, who is behind him in P6. Larson then with 2.2 seconds margin over Thomas Gostner. One of the best drives I've seen from Thomas Gostner across not only qualifying but in this race as well. James Wayland then heading down towards turn number 4, where rise uphill once again, taking some curb and then braking ahead of turn number 5, turns in for the right-hander at turn 5, and now heading towards turns 6 and 7, which are the chicanes here at the Hungaroring. Heavy braking, take plenty of curb going in and take plenty of curb coming out. Interestingly, that's one of the places where track limits has been something of an issue for some of the drivers. So there's Prinot. Now, where is von Skeltermaar in all of this? Ah, there he is. So Prinot's still not quite close enough to von Skeltermaar to really have a go at trying to overtake, but closer to Eric Chung now than he has been for a couple of laps is Christoph Herney. So Herney P7, Chung P6. 5 3/4 minutes left. And Herney now, it's off the back of this turn 13 where you start preparing for an overtake going into turn 1, would you believe? So Chung hugs the inside of turn 14. Herney is on the outside of turn 14 quicker, which should give him additional momentum going in towards turn number 1. And this is where Eric Chung could fall prey to Christoph Herney, who dives to the inside now. Now, he may carry too much speed and Eric Chung will get underneath him once again. Indeed he does. That was very, very clever driving by Eric Chung, who could see what was coming there, but knew that Herney would be carrying too much speed into turn 1, so he just braked sensibly, turned in, and knew that he would get the place back, and that's exactly what he did. I have to say, Eric Chung is a cool, calm, and collected driver under normal circumstances, and that just proving the point as we watch Johnny Lawson in super slow-mo there, taking the curbs in and out of the turns 6 and 7 chicane. So Lawson with 2.5 minutes ahead. Here's the leader of the ladies' race, Tina Koch, then for Formula Racing, and it will be the first time on the podium for Tina. And now Herney is getting frustrated behind Eric Chung and he's trying to find a way past anywhere, which could be his undoing, to be honest. This Hungaroring circuit is quite technical and it's quite difficult to overtake. And Eric Chung, metaphorically, just needs to stick his elbows out a little bit and deny Christoph Herney, which will make him ever more frustrated. Herney now to the inside of Eric Chung. Well, to be fair, again, Eric Chung just driving with his head and realizing that, come on then, have a go, but you're going to be denied. Johnny Lawson crosses the timing line and heads downhill. So too does Eric Chung, and Eric Prinot has got past von Skeltermaar. Or has he? Yes, he has. So Eric Prinot then moves up to P3. Von Skeltermaar, back to P4. There was a little bit of contact between the two of them. So Eric Prinot then has got past von Skeltermaar, but von Skeltermaar is chasing down here. And von Skeltermaar just takes a look to the inside. And von Skeltermaar far from happy that Eric Prinot has got past him. And now that Eric has got past, he does appear to be quicker than von Skeltermaar. There you can see the gap of maybe 6 or 7 car lengths between Eric Prinot and von Skeltermaar. I'd like to see a replay of the overtake, which we think was on the start-finish straight. We were looking uphill at the cars, and it looked like Prinot was ahead, and I was right, he was. So in the last sector, Christoph Herney lost some 20 seconds. So must have gone around potentially. He's really been pushing very hard. But means that Rick Lovett is the one that's chasing down Eric Chung now. I think, to be fair, Christoph Herney was pushing so hard on Eric Chung, and Eric Chung was just driving very sensibly and cleverly, and just allowing Christoph Herney actually to get in all sorts of a muddle. And that's been reinforced by virtue of the fact he's lost a place, lost 2 places, and lost all that time as well. So Johnny Lawson, who I think has listened to his race engineer every single step of the way and has just controlled the margin back to Thomas Gosner. It's been a good drive, good solid drive from Thomas Gosner, to be honest. Now, what can Eric Prinot do over the minute and a half that remains? Well, he ain't going to be able to reel in 7.5 seconds, is he? Let's be truthful. Manuel Gosner with her fingers crossed then, and Christian Hobone right at the back of that picture, as I mentioned. Good to see Christian back in the paddock once again. So there is Thomas Gosner driving his son David's car, and potentially heading towards a P2 finish here, which I think will be one of the best finishes I've seen from Thomas Gosner. So Larsen, Gosner, Prinot, Skeltermaar, Wayland, Chung, Lovett, Dusan, Palkra, Christoph Herney, Tommy Lindroth, rounding out the top 10 at the moment. So, as the cars cross the timing line, close as to whether this... Well, see the braking there into the turn from Thomas Gosner, who has been untroubled, really, in P2. Fairness, Johnny Lawson has really managed the gap. Here comes the battle for P11 between Henrik Kamstrup and Tina Koch. Tina Koch will be on the podium, all barring disasters, for the Ladies' Cup win, by virtue of the fact she's the only lady out there. And we're on to the final lap. And Johnny Lawson then, P1, Thomas Gosner P2, Eric Prinot P3. And chasing down Tina Koch is Henrik Kamstrup then. As I mentioned, it is the battle for P11. Tina new into the Ferrari Challenge this year, and is very welcome as we pick up our race leader on the final lap then. Another good drive from Johnny Lawson. Been a supreme drive from Thomas Gosner, who's chased him down, albeit always having a margin of between 2 and 2.5 seconds, always. Johnny Lawson has never looked particularly troubled, truthfully. Manuela Gosner crossing her fingers. Of course, she wants a great result for Dad Thomas. There was a conversation with him yesterday, and really likeable family, it has to be said. And there's Lawson then for Formula Racing. Certainly like the rumble strips. Heavy on the brakes now because you're going downhill, which increases the speed of the car. And heads up towards turn 13. Just this and turn 14 to do. And this will be the second win in the book for season 2017 for Johnny Lawson, as he heads towards the checkered flag for Formula Racing. Then Johnny Lawson takes the win. And here comes a brilliant P2 finish for Thomas Gosner, who Did a lot of hard work in qualifying. P3 should go the way of Eric Prinot. Indeed it does, ahead of von Skelterma, who takes P4. James Wayland, good drive from him for P5. It should be Eric Chung that takes P6. Indeed he does, ahead of Rick Love at P7. Then it will be Dusan Palkra and Tommy Lindroth, P8 and P9. Ahead of Christoph Herney, who will end up at P10. And Tina Koch then will finish the race P11. Assuming Hamstrup hasn't got past, indeed not. So Tina Koch rounds turn 13 now. And it will be the First Ladies Cup win for Tina. It'll be very, very good to see her on the podium. Heading towards the checkered flag now. Winner of the ladies race. Well done, Tina. There we have it. Race done and dusted. So, Formula Racing pretty happy with Johnny Lawson. He adds P1 to his P2 from the race yesterday. And the marshals wave their flags. Of course, we wouldn't be racing without the marshals, so big thank you as always to them. Eric Prinot denies von Skelterma a podium because Fons finishes at P4. It's better, of course, than his DNF yesterday. So on board with Johnny Lawson, he's slowing down lap as he's heading towards the pit lane. Rick Lovett, the Canadian racer, takes P7. P8 goes the way of Dusan Palkra. And Manuela Gosner is pretty happy with what her father Thomas has achieved. Grandi Papi, which I guess means well done, father. Tommy Lindroth has improved on his P10 of yesterday and takes his second P9 of the season so far. Well done, Tommy, who was late arriving into his car for the start of the race. Johnny Lawson out of the car. Well done, Johnny. Grande. Great drive from Thomas Gosner to take P2. Congratulated by daughter Manuela, who sadly was nerfed out of the race earlier on. Well, Johnny Lawson then did, as I say, a lot of the hard work in qualifying, put the car in pole position. And Monica there waiting to congratulate Eric as he gets out of the car. It's a very good podium for our Nico MP Racing with P2 and P3. And well done, Tina. Be really, really good to see Tina up there on the podium.
Thank you, Tina. Tina,
Babalous then. Driver coach to Eric Prinot. And there, great shot. Johnny Lawson, who's wearing his flag. Also over to congratulate Tina Koch. Here's confirmation of the classification then. Johnny Lawson taking the win from Thomas Gosner, Eric Prinot, von Skelterma. There was James Wayland, Eric Chung, Rick Lovett, Dusan Palkra, Tommy Lindroth, Christoph Herney, rounding out the top 10. And there were only 2 other finishers on the second page of the screen, and those will be Tina Koch and Henrik Kamstrup, because sadly we lost Vladimir Hladic and Manuela Gosner earlier in the race. Races.ferrari.com, the website for you to check out all the information with regards to the Ferrari Challenge. And there, Johnny Lawson congratulating, of course, Tina, because they both race in the same team, the Formula Racing team. Eric Prenot then is pretty happy. Well, let's take a look then at the challenge show here this weekend. So we are standing by for the podium. I saw that 70 sign earlier in the paddock, and we'll talk more about that in just a moment.
Grazie.
Now, not wishing to cast any aspersions whatsoever, but it looked like someone had lifted a 70-mile-per-hour speed sign from somewhere to celebrate Ferrari's 70-year history and get as many signatures as possible. Well done, sir. Right. Eric Prenot on the third step of the podium. Thomas Gosner on the second step of the podium. And, of course, on the top step, it's Johnny Lawson. And the best of the ladies will be Tina Koch. It's her first podium of Ferrari Challenge, and absolutely thrilled for her. So Johnny Lawson and Thomas Gosner in deep conversation there as Mr. Antonello Coletta then makes the trophy presentation, first of all to Eric Prenot, and then to Thomas Gosner. Mr. Antonello Coletta, Ferrari GT Sporting Activities Director. And then to Johnny Lawson. Formula Racing, of course, will collect the team's trophy. And there'll be a huge cheer for this next podium as well, because it's not this one, sorry. Gentleman racer for Thomas Gosner. The old man trophy, sir, if I may say. And now this is when the huge cheer will come. Her first podium. Well done, Tina. Michele then orchestrating once again the podium.
Together, please. Up your trophy, and see camera with photo and video. This is a shut up with two on the ring. It's a round of Challenge Europe Series. Okay, smile. Okay, and now.
If they all survive the podium without falling over, I'll be amazed, because they're all balanced on that top step pretty precariously, it has to be said. And it's time for the champagne. Well, an intense champagne fight between the two Formula drivers as Tina takes issue with Eric Prenot and Thomas Gosner loses his fizz. Got a flat bottle. Poor devil. Right. P3 for Eric Prinot as we take the super slow-mos of the top three. Get a grip, Dave, really. P2 goes the way of Thomas Gosner. He of less carbonated champagne on the trophy than anyone else. And P1, of course, Johnny Lawson, then our race winner. What a fine drive he delivered once again in car number 160 for Formula Racing. Oh. So Johnny Lawson then. It is his second win of the season thus far. And there was the brilliant champagne moment. In fairness, the champagne was not faulty. It's basically Thomas Gosner had used up all his gas before he got to anybody else. Next event is Paul Ricard, La Castellet in France. One of my producer's favourite circuits that we head between the 21st and the 23rd of July. Let's take a look at the highlights of the race 2 for the Ferrari Challenge Coppa Shell. Here they come right now. So at the start then, as they all headed into turn number 1, it was great move from Thomas Gosner. If it had just closed the door, maybe he would have denied Johnny Lawson the lead from pole position going into turn 1, but once Johnny Lawson had got his nose in front, he was going to be untroubled. There was a mistake there from James Wayland that allowed Eric Chung to get ever closer to him, and they were crunching the numbers on the data. Tommy Lindroth dived out of that little overtake opportunity on Dusan Palcra, and it was just a scary moment as the back end of the car let go for Johnny Lawson, but it was well held. It was a great drive also from Tina Cock to take the ladies' victory. And there were 2 opportunities from Christoph Ernie, and he tried both of them and failed on both occasions, carrying just too much speed. Thomas Gosner's daughter Manuela had her fingers crossed for her dad, who would take P2, but Johnny Lawson was the undisputed Coppa Shell Ferrari Challenge winner in race 2 at the Hungaroring. It was Thomas Gosner that would take P2, and Manuela was there to congratulate him. Tina Cock then would be on the podium for the first time in the Ladies' Cup, and she was also congratulated by the Formula Racing team, and not to be missing out on a kiss was Eric Prinot. It was kisses all round, really, at the end of that race. In the Drivers' Championship, then, we head towards Paul Ricard with Johnny Lawson on 87 points, Eric Chung on 74, and Rick Lovett on 63 points. All the information, races.ferrari.com is the website for you to check it out. From me here in the commentary booth, live from the Hungaroring, we look forward to seeing you in the south of France in a few weeks' time. Bye-bye for now.